let's say you made, just for the sake of example, $10,000. And you had to use your car to go to the business deals. So the expenses of the fuel and upkeeping of the car, and you had to use your phone to do phone calls, and you put some ads in the paper, whatever you used for the business, that's an expense. But if you went on Saturday night to have beer with your friends, that's not an expense. Anything that has to do an expense with your business, then you made 10,000, your expenses were 2,000, now you're left with 8,000, you paid 800 shekels of dollars. Now some people say that it's before taxes, the American taxes. Some will say after. Some people say, listen, you made 100,000. You had 40,000 expenses. You're left with 60,000. Came the IRS and told you give me 20,000. So now you're left with 40,000. Some will say, no, you give Meiser from the 40,000 because the IRS is an expense. Some will say, no, give from the net, not what you paid to the other partner. The reality is that each one goes the right way. You ask your Rav. If you're asking me, is after all your expenses. You're done with your expenses, whatever amount you're left with, that you calculate, and even if it's 783 and 72 cents, you give the 72 cents. And you calculate on the cents. If the fuel is $55.42, don't write 55, write 52. And the more you are particular about every little cent and every little expense, and you have to be honest, it's very easy to add expenses. You say this is exactly the expense, that's what you pay. And I can guarantee to you, anyone that I told him be very particular with Meiser, they saw unbelievable success. Before I became into the Torah world, I was just about money. And I was my law, just Meiser. And anyone who's very particular with Maaser sees bracha in that. And it has to be very, very honest, and you have to know how to do it. Because some people, they make per deal. Some people make a salary. Some people make once a month. You have to consult with your rabbi how to do it exactly, and that you make sure that you're giving it on time. Now, Maaser, there's a contradiction. Harav Kanievsky says Maaser can only go to tzedakah. To tzedakah, to charity.
So you can't give it to family members before tzedakah?
If they need it, that's tzedakah. But that's what Harav Kanievsky says. He says Maaser has to go only to tzedakah. And a lot of other rabbis said, no, Maaser is whatever you want, you can give it. Because some people, you know what they do? They take from the Maaser and they give it to tuition for the kids. Unfortunately, they don't have money. They don't have money. That's, I understand that. Excuse me? No, the thing is that you can't do it for boys' tuition. Talmud Torah, you're not allowed to do that. But for girls, you're allowed to do that. So you have to, again, there's a lot of rules here. You have to consult with your local rabbi or the rabbi that you go by. There's a lot of rules in Maaser, but I can tell you that anyone who gives Maaser sees bracha in their money. And the more you do it, if you give double, it's called chumash, then you get 20%. Excuse me?
I heard it's a very big school for wealth.
Yeah. It says, aser te'aser b'shvil litasher. So it talks about two masrot. Aser te'aser. That's 10%. That's 20%. And I can tell you that anyone that I know that was very particular with Maaser never suffered from that. Now, again, like I said before, you make 500 a week, it's very easy to give Maaser. When you make 20,000, suddenly the Maaser is like, oh, that's not so easy. But try it. This is the only mitzvah that the Kadosh Baruch Hu says, test me. The only mitzvah that we're allowed to test the Kadosh Baruch Hu. All the other mitzvot, we're not allowed to test the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So test the Kadosh Baruch Hu, I guarantee to you, you'll find success. The only thing I can warn you, that the Yetzer Hara always comes in the beginning to annoy. So in the beginning it doesn't work that well, because the Yetzer Hara wants to create, a different reality. Right? So you have to be strong in your decision, and it has to be done be'emunah. And I can tell you another secret, that the intention is very important. If you're giving the maaser because you want here the money, it's not the right way. But if you do, the intention is to, you're saying, HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed me with a lot of money, all I'm going to do is give it out, and the intention is right. And you do it with all your heart. And the right way to do it is you give it without people knowing who you gave it to. It's called Matan Baseter. And you come to families, you don't give them out money and embarrass them. You put money under their door, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it's a family member or not. You actually want to give first, if a family member is in dire straits, you want to help them. But also do it quietly. You don't have to come and tell them, here, I'm supporting you, that chas v'shalom, they'll be embarrassed, and every time they look at you, they'll feel poor. Do it smart. Give it quietly here. Put an envelope under the door. But it is a very, very big remedy. But, most important, you can't have dirt here. You can't here desecrate Shabbat and lie and cheat and do all these things and here expect that the Maaser is going to be your... You know where we learned this Maaser is from Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was a multi-millionaire. And why? Because he says, Kol asher titen li aser asenu lach. Everything that you're going to give me, I'm going to give Maaser to you. And he was very, very particular with the sheep. So, Bezat Hashem, start giving Maaser.